Talk Today airs Monday through Friday from 12:15 until 2:30 p.m., bringing you insight into community events and issues, government initiatives, and the latest in business news within our islands. Brought to you each Tuesday and Thursday by Fidelity Bank. We're good for you. Visit fidelitygroup.com or call 949-7822.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. It's another terrific Tuesday as we invite you to be a part of our talk today. 949-8037 or toll free. With that kind, compliments of flow at 1-800-534-TALK, 1-800-534-8255. Why don't we start it up with some open line? I mean, it's only Tuesday. We can't get in that much trouble yet, can we? Let's see. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. All right, let's have some fun. Who wants to share with me their deepest, darkest desire? Their secret? No, just kidding. What is on your mind? What is it that you want to share that is, you think, you know what, has to be discussed, has to be championed, has been ignored for too long? And I ask that simply because last season following the program, we were very, very grateful as we are, and I say this with the greatest of deference to all of our guests who come through. You know, whether it is that you say, well, you know, they're selling their wares, they're peddling their, you know, their merchandise as it were, whether it's this particular agenda, but it's lunch hour. You're out and about, you have errands to run. You probably should, and I say this to remind myself because it's very important, not just get a little sustenance and fuel to put you through the day, but equally to take time, rest, you know, put your feet up, catch your breath. You should get some little thing to eat and to relax. So when you make yourselves available and come into the studio and share with us, we appreciate that. When you're listening and calling, hey, you could be doing something else. We appreciate that as well. Hopefully, it encourages us to be more active, more engaged, more involved, more informed, more proactive. Not, you know, waiting for something to happen and then after it seems that our approach to bury our heads in the sand isn't working, we then react. Well, let's not do that. Let's get up on it and get it going. Well, it's open line. So share with us, 949-8037. Off the bat, the very first caller, we want to say thank you. We're going to give you a gift certificate, complimentary reflections, right? All you got to do is call. I may ask you to sing, recite poetry. You never know, but take the chance. Who's going to be that courageous? Give us a call, and we'll give you a gift certificate, complimentary reflections to, you know, be used as you wish in any of their many stores. Whether it's Food for Less and Liquor for Less, and use it across their empire. How about that? You know, Caymanian entrepreneurs controlling empires. Why can't it be that way? Well, let it be. So compliments or reflections, we'll give you a gift certificate. And just for being the first caller, hey, what a wonderful day this will be. Let's rejoice in it, huh? 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. And you know, as we go through the day, let's talk about other things that are important to us, to our health and well-being, our safety, security. You know what? It may not be important to anybody else. It just may be important to you. Let's go to the phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling.
Sterling, how are you?
I am blessed, very thankful. How about yourself?
I'm
Okay, I'm going to apologize to you. Let Miss Susan work her technological magic and get you all squared away, because I, for some reason, not able to hear that caller. But do not disconnect if you can hear me. We're going to get you back up so all of us can hear you, because if I can't hear, then maybe other people having the same challenge. So it isn't, that we probably don't appreciate sometimes maybe the cell towers, maybe just the tunnels that we're in. It could be all sorts of things, but let's try it again. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back.
It's me.
Okay, much better. How are you?
I'm very well.
Okay, I am indeed. All right. Well, thank you for calling. Now, we said the first caller
Yes.
get, compliments of reflections, a gift certificate, and we will gladly give it to you. Anything you want to share with us?
No.
No?
Give God thanks for life. Every day when we wake up, we have to give thanks, because what we've been through, I wasn't here on island when the earth shook, but we have to give thanks because we could have all gone. I'm like, when I think about that, it's just a wake call for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Live loving, and give God thanks.
Amen. Well, thank you for that. And we would like to say thanks to you and to Reflection. So please do not hang up. Please, if you are so kind, allow Miss Susan to take your proper information. And when you come to Radio Cayman, the gift certificate will be at our reception for you. All right?
Okay, thank you.
You're most welcome. Hey, listen, why don't we do that? It's just another way of saying, sharing the love. This is February. In February, we should share the love every day. But why not even now that we can? And why not? Simply because we don't know what tomorrow will bring. Sometimes, even though we may have planned and programmed, we don't know what today might be like. Now, what else is on your mind? 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. And we want to give you a quick heads up. Open line until 1:30. At 1:30, for just a half hour. We know the physicians, the nurses, all the medical personnel over at HSA extremely busy. So we're going to talk about, Children's Dental Health Month, and Nurse Veronica together with Dr. Andrea join us, and we'll have a quick little chat with them. That's the plan. But between now and then, hey, why not? Some open line, and why not talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about? Now, at the end of the day, I was sharing, we look at where we are in sort of the whole big picture, and we say, well, we're in Cayman. And for some, within the financial services sector, and for others who are just intimately familiar with what's happening, we may look at it and go, well, geez, we're on another list again. What color is this one this time? And what does that mean for us? And really, does it mean anything? And is there a way that we'll ever, not end up with some sort of black eye or the other? Well, let's go to the phones. Good afternoon. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Sterling.
Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you?
I am very thankful to hear you this, and I want to make a report today.
You make a report. You go right ahead.
It's about the garbage truck.
Okay.
That they break down so often because of the way they are treated. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yesterday, Monday, I couldn't get on because you had the people on for the whole day, for the whole show.
Okay.
But I was listening.
Thank you.
This truck now that have all of these stickers on it, I didn't get no license number, nothing like that, but I got the ID the two IDs that I can give is with a big man there with a green shirt with the DEH on it, and others with darker shirts, I don't know, gray or whatever it was.
Right.
But now they were all, I can say what they was too, Jamaicans, yeah.
Okay.
And it was this neighbor across from me, and you know where I am at.
Yes, ma'am.
Always had this pile of stuff that they can throw into this truck. So now, for I would say over the weekend or before the weekend, they had some rebuilding done in that corner over there. So they took all of this material and they piled it up there, and they even had a very old sink and all of this. I don't know whether it was the little rental place or the place that they had built up now for where they do the swapping for outside to have. They used to use the neighbors there now used to use the car, the vehicle for selling food, but I don't say that they have a restaurant now. But they do a lot of them stopping and cooking and all that behind there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know which one they were that they tore down and just back up. All this material that was right inside the truck. So I seen that they were checking on that because they only had like 2 bags in the original garbage thing there, right? And then, so I seen this guy, he coming toward this party. I said, can I carry them things in the truck? This is what destroys the truck. So when I know anything, 3 more of the men came. But then the woman now that's over there, she could come too. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, she said, she made me crawl. But anyway, that beside the point. Starting they had down to the very double old kitchen sink and all that there. That they after a while, she was standing there now, and she from her mud and she going on. And I'm saying, I'm going to report it because this is what destroys our truck. And she stood up there until they put the old sink, the old kitchen sink now on double sink, and then some other metal things on the side now then. But they was such a big pile, right? They couldn't carry all of it beside what they had already had it already. So I'm the first house on your left coming down, right? Sterling?
Mm-hmm.
Then there's 2 more after me. So they stopped at the third one and picked up a little bit of garbage there. And it took very time. I didn't see whether they had went around. I call it like in a roundabout. Down in the neighborhood. But
right.
They did that so quickly they could not pick up nobody else garbage down the other end and come around, so they left. So today now another truck comes that never had no stickers on it today, and they picked up their little bit of garbage that was in their original thing there, and then they went on. Took a while before they picked up all the other people that didn't get to pick up yesterday. So I want to say this now, that I'm hoping that somebody from the DEH, Department of Environment Health, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are listening to this, because this is what happens to our trucks. The Jamaicans, do it for Jamaicans. Do not do that kind of stuff. They get another truck to carry their stuff if they don't have a truck of their own, right? So this is what destroying our truck. I put it out there today, and I don't care if they like it or not, but I told them out that I was going to report it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? Sometimes you just need to bring things to the attention of people in a way that maybe gets somebody's attention. So thank you very much for that, huh?
No, but listen, Sterling.
Yes, ma'am.
I was even thinking that they were going to empty out the truck now and come back and get the rest of the garbage here.
Mm-hmm.
In this neighborhood. But no, they didn't come back. So another truck come to this. So I wonder if they destroyed that truck yesterday or not. You hear what I'm saying, Sterling?
I hear you, but...
Hard, right?
Hard. Yes, ma'am.
Sterling, I want money. It's our money, you know.
Well, some people don't... Well, yeah. I hear you. All right. Anything else you want to share? All right.
No.
Good
That's
stuff.
off my chest now, so I'm going to listen.
Feel better. There you go. All right. Therapy. Thank you very much, all right? Let's pause, take a short break. But what else? Who else? Well, let's find out after the break. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman will be holding a prostate and colon cancer awareness meeting at the John Gray Memorial United Church Hall in West Bay on Tuesday, February 18 at 7:30 p.m. Free PSA testing will be available along with a presentation by guest speaker Dr. Shillingford. PSA testing will be done by Royal Medical and Wellness Center. For more information on prostate and colon cancer awareness, join the Lions Club of Grand Cayman on Tuesday, February 18 at 7:30 p.m. at the John Gray Memorial United Church Hall in West Bay. Cayman Arts Festival and the Cayman Islands Public Library Service proudly present Music at the Library, featuring classical music in addition to poetry and readings from local poets and writers. 2020 performances include Glenn Inanga on piano, Antonio Alvarez on cello, and Joan Garcia on violin. Thursday, February 20th, 6 p.m. at the Public Library in Georgetown. Tickets will be available at the door, 20 CI for adults and 5 CI for students.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. It's open line 949-8037 or toll free with the compliments of Flow at 1-800-534-8255. Well, let's go to our phones. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, Rambo.
Hey, Rambo. How are you, man? How are you?
Well, thank God. A couple of hours I was working this job there, you know. Thank God, you know.
Yeah, man. True.
But we fast with it, say, but I say no, different there, right? Who will be sentimental or, you know, depending on what I say today, right? Listen, the EU, you know where they talk nothing about this, right? And listen, those people, right, there are 26 countries in the EU, right? Some of them, right, liberalism and conservatism. You come from? Like I said again, last Thursday, I was telling you, we need another revenue stream, alternative revenue stream. So we have a clear income, a clear security coming, funds, money. So come from? So like a confederate project, good. You know, Cayman, we have to be strict in the place now. To destroy and trust. Yeah? Like I say again, the herb thing, that's money making. Right? And a lot of people like shy away from that. I know a lot of people, the tree huggers, the ocean lovers, you know what I'm saying? Bee lovers, wherever. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But like I say again, if it's herbs or gambling, so sort of fast money, right? Fast money, other revenues. You understand?
But now listen to you with the respect, you said fast money, but what about long-term, sustainable? Can we do something that isn't just fast, you know, right now for the next 5 months or 5 years, but it's down the road for generations? What can we do?
Sterling, that herb is listen, for years, right? North of us, U.S. continent, the FDA got a problem with the herbs. Look at the U.S., so they're flourishing with that now. Flourishing, right? For 9 years, everything. But the FDA will kind of rocket it, you know, for the benefit, right? Pharmaceutical benefit. So come from. So we got spell coffee and we started we a leap here. And all I gotta say though, I have confidence now that the government can negotiate this properly. I got a feeling that they can do that with this with the EU. We end the month without resolve swiftly. I got a feeling in my gut. You know, so that's what I say to you, Sterling.
Yeah, man.
Anything else, or that's it?
No, I was just thinking. No, listen, man. I always appreciate what you share, and you've been saying, you know, that this is a revenue stream that we should look at the whole idea of cannabis, and you know, not just the personal consumption, but the medical use of it, the research and study, the growing and the like, and the other benefits. So maybe it is something that we would consider. But the question is, though, is it something that, from a society's perspective, that even though there's money there, are we willing as a people to embrace it?
The Cayman, right? We the Cayman people, a lot of lying and hypocritical, right? I straight up to the former, right? But little hypocritical, right? And I know banish no border, right? That's caliber they are.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
But let them know who want it, or another narcotics. That's the problem. But Cayman, we no time this. Let's get the herbs. Simple. It's not a good day. Cool, man.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, keep, you know, us aware of your perspective and appreciate it, man. Thanks very much, all right? All right, let's go to the other line. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Yeah, this is it.
Hey, my friend. How are you today, man?
We back to back.
Tag team, huh?
Yeah.
Kind of like what a fella used to call a wrestling match.
No. But you see 1 pound of oil, right?
Mm-hmm.
From the earth. Me myself, I seen it make almost 15 to 30 gallons of gasoline. Understand?
Repeat that again for me. So 1 pound.
1 pound of oil
Mm-hmm.
can make almost 15 to 30 gallons of gasoline.
Okay, so you can use it to fuel your car, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you take about 6 months to a year. If you're outside, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you're depending on the weather, take about 6 months. You can get almost a good 300,000 pounds. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So you calculate that for 3 years, and you're almost, self-sufficient within the 3 years.
From the perspective, and I just say this generally, things that you have shared publicly, and a few others, and then just general stuff, nothing scientific, nothing earth-shattering, nothing proprietary in any which way. It would appear that the cannabis plant, whether you're using the oils or other derivatives for medicinal purposes, or whether you're using the plant for construction, for textiles or what have you, that there are significant benefits. Now you're saying for fuel and the like. Seems to be a very versatile plant, for want of a better way to phrase it. Well,
yes, it is, and it would be detrimental to certain groups, like the plastic groups, because everything that you see made out of plastic can also be made out of that.
Okay. Now, again, I'm just going to use another word, and I want to make sure that I'm not misunderstanding. We hear the word hemp, H-E-M-P. That is coming from the same plant as well?
That is what you call the rudolphus plant. That is the scientific name for that.
Okay. So, and then we go in the supermarket and we see hemp seeds that we can eat, and they're very seemingly nutritious, and they're putting on, into stuff that healthy. Seemingly. I mean, that's my understanding, right?
Yep.
The hemp milk and the other stuff. So the reason why I'm asking that is that, and I'm not trying to set anybody up to make them look bad or whichever, but hopefully people listening won't infer, oh, but that boy look like he a few, what is slices short of a full loaf. But our governments and our business leaders and the like, if this thing seems to have some potential in many different areas, is it, as the caller before, for example, was sharing, that other leg to our economy, and as you're sharing, maybe position us to be self-sustainable in certain areas, or at least contributing to our less reliance on certain things? What is the potential cost in your mind to set up something like this, whether it's a production facility, whether you're setting up a farm to grow it? Any idea? I mean, have you sort of looked into any of that at all?
Yeah. One calculation from a long time ago was $198 million that they spend to try to control it. Now, probably 20% of that, you could just basically start it moving on to what you would call the 3-year process I have. Or the one that I had, but remember now you're on an island, you got to deal with the weather.
Right.
So you will have probably take 3 years to store and grow, you know what I mean? So just probably 15% of that.
Okay.
Say about 200 something. You're ready to buy a piece of land and just plant and grow and harvest.
But then, if I may then, secondly, so let's say we're doing something, right? This question has two parts. One, would we need as a country to decide whether we're going to grow it for food or grow it for medicinal purposes? Grow it may not be the right word, but let's get into the manufacturing and production, loosely speaking. Or do we need to do it for oil to fuel our cars and the machines in our homes? Or can we do all those things? Or do we need to specialize and just do it into one of these areas, so to speak?
No, we should do it for all those things because we relying on imports.
Okay.
One of these days, you see those imports that they can't get here, right?
Right. Fair enough.
This is what happens, right?
Now let me then ask then from that perspective. So we're doing this thing, whatever it is and however. Let's say it's feasible and whichever. But, and again, I could be looking at this maybe too much or maybe not even enough, according to some. But let's say we're doing this thing. Is there a cost in relation to a financial cost to securing the facilities, for want of a better word, that we now have these plants or these manufacturing or whichever it is? So this thing is now valuable, very much like the businesses that have warehouses. They got to store and they got to pay to store it and they got to pay to secure the storage. Would that be a problem and a significant cost to make sure that this good, again, for want of a better word, that we have somebody not coming in and say, boy, you know what, you've done all the hard work, let me come and steal it from you. Is that an issue?
No, that would be maybe we have to take over the hotels for something else.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We have to make the hotel store something else.
Hotel? Say that again, please.
You'd have to make the hotels store something else.
Okay. Now, what about then the perception locally, regionally, internationally? We're now doing this thing. Again, maybe I'm looking at it again and not properly, but we look at the financial services sector, we look at the EU, and there are those here who would say, boy, them big bullies over there just trying to beat up on this little place here because we're taking a piece of the pie, we're influencing things. So if this country, I'll call it that, some would say it isn't, is doing this thing and we're cutting edge, let's say we have the best scientists doing research, whatever it is, maybe it's food, whatever it is, and two things, cutting into the money from the plastics, as you talk about, from the pharmaceuticals, from all the other things, and then secondly, going in the premise that there's still probably a perception that that thing is a drug, and boy, that's the worst thing in the world. That's the ruination of society. So with those two possible avenues, the financial and then the sort of societal perspective, how would Cayman be perceived and positioned and received by the global society? What do you think? Any concerns there?
Well, they didn't say nothing about Jamaica. They didn't say nothing about their own selves. England have got it that they growing.
Okay.
If you're rich enough in England, you can grow as much as you want.
Okay.
So if the mother can do it, then what?
So what's good for the goose is good for the gander?
I think so. They're trying to say with this name marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just some made up name. Mm-hmm. The other word, ganja, that's a bird. That's a bird that is down by the Ganges River.
Okay.
A quail type of bird.
Yeah.
So these names that they use, like I tell you, to perceive it as this devil or this evil something, you have to get the people to recognize it. This is all the same thing.
No.
Yes, it's not for young people.
Right. Okay. So regulated and the like. And I was going to ask then, from what you just shared, the concern that some may have, whether it's a parent, whether it's a physician, that, hey, you got this thing, it can be like anything, use and abuse and misuse, that people, and in particular young people, if they were to use it in this way, it could result in harmful effects to their health. So if you make it...
Look at it illegal now.
Mm-hmm.
They're smoking it through vapors, through them vapor pens.
Can I ask you about
That's
that?
it being illegal.
Yeah. Can I ask you about that? For a minute, let's dismiss whatever allegations may have been made in the public domain, whether in the press, whether the suspicions of policing. Just for a second, right? There are those in the wider community who would share, well, these we're calling vaping pens, people are using them and they're putting it in this, so you don't know what they're doing, right? Do you think that particular use in that format is widespread, much more so than we are acknowledging. And if so, are we ignoring it because no harm, no foul?
That's right. That's exactly right.
Okay.
What happens? What he does is they try to stretch it with coconut oil or vitamin E oil. You're not supposed to smoke that. You're not supposed to inhale that in no form.
You can, in its pure form, you can probably drink it and put it in your skin, but be careful how you use it otherwise, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
And they let that slide because certain people making money off it, not we, the people. Harming us by not, you know what I'm saying?
So with that in mind then, right, and again, the reason why I appreciate you sharing, one is, you're obviously very willing, but two, you have a thought process. Maybe other people listening would be willing to respond and challenge, you guys talking foolishness, or you might say, hey, there's something. And that is the critical thinking, the sort of discourse we need to have if it's going to help to inform things. So with that in mind, then, is that one of the biggest problems in this society? The level of, how do we put it, willness that we are willing to go to, right? The lengths that we're willing to go to turn a blind eye, because over here, George is doing this, and George is a good guy, he, fool. But boy, look down here, there is, James, and you know who he is, look where he come from. So we don't want him in that. Is that a problem? It just depends on who's doing it, when they're doing it, where they're doing it.
That's the problem. Somebody will call in right now and tell you some story about their uncle or their, you understand, or their son or whoever, that got hooked on it and just got their life ruined. But you check it out. The main thing in common with all them is all them went to jail at one point in time. Had to go in court or something at one point in time. They had to be forced to give up their urine at one point in time.
Right, because if you failed to do that, there was a lot of say automatically there was an offense.
All right.
Okay. Well, and maybe we're learning from that. Maybe we're learning how to do something. Before we hit the break, any final thoughts?
Yeah, the last thing, the most major thing is, do you know that you're born with this in you?
But honestly, I only learned was something that in you, the system, the cannabinoid system or something.
Endocannabinoid.
Cannabinoid, that's the word.
Yeah, that's all born in you.
Yeah.
You making that illegal, you making something. You understand?
Yeah. I honestly, I just haven't been motivated, I guess, to look into it. I keep saying I should and I would, because there are a lot of, hopefully I'm not offending anybody, but the amount of people, reasonably intelligent, respectable people who are reading about it, trying to understand it from different perspectives. Some, I don't think I'm being, sort of abusing any trust. Some because this thing is in the media globally, and so they want to get a little bit of knowledge about it. It's interesting to see the people that are talking about it. So, hey, thanks very much for that, my friend. All right, with that, let's pause, take a short break. Who wants to be the next caller, and what do you want to talk about? Well, let's take a stab. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Marianne Radmacher once said, "As we work to create light for others, we naturally light our own way."
Calling all CICSA members. The Cayman Islands Civil Service Association annual general meeting for the Sister Islands is Thursday, February 20th in Cayman Brac at the District Administration Building in Stake Bay in the conference room located on the second floor starting at 12:15 p.m. A light lunch will be provided.
Come out and vote for your two BRAC representatives who will serve on the 2020 Management Council. Hear the President give his annual report, ask your questions, share your ideas, and make suggestions. You can also email your questions in advance of the meeting to cicsa@gov.ky. There will also be a door prize raffle of a Cayman Airways voucher, and the first 35 persons to sign in at the meeting will get a free gift.
Members, please make every effort to attend this very important CICSA annual general meeting for the Sister Islands on the BRAC Thursday, February 20th at the District Administration Building in Stake Bay in the conference room located on the second floor starting at 12:15 p.m.
ValueMed Pharmacy is your community care partner for health and wellness needs. We offer convenient prescription processing at the counter and online at value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com, with pickup available at the Walkers Road or Boddentown location. We also accept transfer prescriptions from other pharmacies. More than just a pharmacy, shop ValueMed for personal care and beauty products from trusted brands, perfume and gift sets, Hallmark and greeting cards, baby clothes, footwear, handbags, swimwear, home decor, toys, school supplies, and stationery. And home convalescence aids like wheelchairs, walkers, crutches, canes, and hospital beds. With 2 locations to serve you, Walkers Road in Georgetown and in Evron Plaza, Boddentown. Visit ValueMed, more than just a pharmacy.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. 949-8037. 949-8037 or toll free at 1-800-534-8255. Hey, call, share your thoughts with us as we invite you to maybe not only put something out there that is so obvious but it's being overlooked, that is so central and salient to our continued success and survival, but yet it's being ignored. I'll give us an example. So following our show yesterday, I had the chance to speak to a few individuals who were of the perspective that if you look at the continuing sort of evolution within our society, that there are increasingly a growing number of our voters, not just as citizens and residents, but those who not only are eligible but have gone ahead and ensure that they become registered so that they can participate in our elections, referendum and the like, that they're becoming not only informed but very publicly engaged. And a few in the discussion were saying simply, if you look at what is happening, there was, according to one individual in particular, a perception that you elected people, you appointed people, they did what they were elected or appointed to do, and when the term expired, you didn't reappoint them if you weren't happy, or when election came up, you either re-elected or you didn't. Now, it's more and more of, wait a minute, you're now in this process and you may be only 1 week into your term or 1 month into your term or 1 year, or you've only got 1 week or 1 month or 1 year left, but guess what? You need to be held accountable. Now, that may only be a small number, but according to one individual anyway, that's becoming a growing number and it's becoming more apparent. But what someone else was sharing is that if you look at it, whereas we're still constantly, reacting to things, we're looking at, well, wow, all of a sudden there are all these cars on the road and it's just this frustration on our roads and nice words, unfortunately, that have been bantered about with respect to sustainability and planning and managed growth are becoming, sort of replaced on the roads with words like rage and frustration. And people are talking about, lost opportunities and the cost of, remaining in traffic instead of being at work or at school or getting to the beach because they're on holiday and they want to get as much out of their sort of downtime. Now, with that, are we planning? And because we're not, as alleged, we're going to repeat the same things year after year. So with that in mind, let me ask a question. What is it that you think is that thing, maybe it's 10, maybe it's 1, maybe it's 2, that we are not doing, that if we were to do, we would be that much better off? Now, I'll give you the take when I asked that question yesterday. The response was, think. Just think. Start thinking about what is it that we should be doing. So if you want to agree with that, fair enough, but give me some other ideas. And just for participating, at some point, if you'll trust my judgment and allow me to exercise my discretion, I would like to give to that person who comes up with that thing. If we do that thing, right, that would just make things that much better. Like I said, by consensus, think. Let's start thinking about what we're doing, our action and our inactions. Think before we act. And let's act while we're thinking, all right? Can I offer up to you? Have you been there before? Water and the Elephant? Right there by, that building that is completely off the grid, next to the roundabout that is beautifully lit. One of the first to get the, what they call it, those flashing crosswalks. Well, it's a nice little place. Excellent staff. Miss Kim and our team does a great job. So, a gift certificate to go there, sit and relax, enjoy the solitude. Water and the Elephant is called. An interesting little name, huh? All right. We're going to give you a gift certificate. I'll decide. Guess what? This is one of the few times when, I got to decide. I'm not home, so decisions are made. I'm not at work. You tell me, what is it that you think that is that thing that we should do, that if we do it, we'd be that much better off? Some wants to simply, let's just comb my hair, shave, get a haircut. Others, it's, hang out with Miss Susan, and you have all the answers. Some of you is like, stay off that social media a little bit more. Well, what is that thing that, you think we should be doing? If we were to do that, we would be that much better off. Perhaps you might say it's from your own personal perspective. You might say, no, it's from the global perspective. As a community, this is what we need to be doing. So, share that with us. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Let me look at our WhatsApp. Open it up to our WhatsApp as well. If you want to put your thoughts on that as well, I'll read it. And then, my prayer is that we'll get so many great ideas that we'll put them out there and we'll have a vote. And then just that vote alone qualifies you for a prize. I mean, why not share the love and just show the appreciation? Well, for a gift certificate to Water and the Elephant, just for contributing. Another way to say we're thankful. We have the news at 1:30 to 2 o'clock. We're going to have a chance to chat with our friends over at HSA as we, share with you for about a half an hour or so. And then 2 to 2:30, there'll be some more open line that we can take your calls and have you share your thoughts with us as well. But between now and then, why don't we start thinking and talking publicly? I don't believe that it's wrong with challenging people in authority because they're put there, whether they're self-appointed, whether it's one of those autocratic nations, or it's one of those healthy democracies like us where we've elected people. As long as we do so civilly, as long as we do so constructively, it'll be great. Now, let's be mindful that the people there, they're people. They have feelings as well. As much as we think that they're big, bad, and tough, they probably can feel the punches that we land, not the physical punches. So, you might say, oh, if they have thick skin, they shouldn't be in that position. But how would you be if you were in that position? Doesn't mean that we shouldn't shy away from saying what we have to say. But share constructively. What is that thing, And I'm sure from the many comments that I thankfully receive from many of you, we are actually of the view that there are a few things that we can be doing. The problem is we don't necessarily have the will, the wherewithal to either go about it or go about it in a timely way, or to even say it publicly, because it may, in our view, fall on deaf ears. And you say, just tired of saying these things over and over, nobody's listening. Or it may be that it offends someone that's close to you, and that's not the intent. But sometimes, if you look at a good parent telling the child, no, simply, no, no, you're not watching any more TV tonight. No, you can't stay any longer with your friends. No, you can't go that place. No, simply no. It doesn't mean that there's any less love. It's probably because of that great love why you telling them no. But the other times you tell them yes, yes, we're going to visit, Granny. Yes, we're going to go out as a family to this thing, and the child mightn't want to. And you yourself mightn't want to, but guess what? It's important. Well, let's go to our news break. When we come back, share. We're just asking you, give us a perspective. What is it, that thing that you think we should be doing as, if we were doing it, would make it that much better? It's not a riddle. Sounds like it probably is, but And for that, we would like to say thanks for sharing. Water
You are
and
listening.
Thank you, Miss Susan. I haven't learned yet to throw my voice like that. But you are listening to Radio Cayman. What did they say? The voice of the Cayman Islands. And we would love very much for you to participate and share your thoughts with us. Simply because it is a great place. As we go to the news, I'll share with you the amount of people who are either in or connected to the financial sector. A week or more ago, some very much in a bit of an informed state had shared with me, even on the weekend. Sorry to bother you, but did you know that this thing is coming down the pipeline? Heads up. And then the week unfolds and nothing appears, and then it starts to be talked about, and then something happens, and then here we are now a week plus later, and yet there are those of you in the sector who knew. Some seemingly were unwilling to acknowledge. Well, little things that we know, but we don't say, because guess what? We know it's going to be received. Well, want to hear from you after the news break. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on island.
Present.
Your voice, your choice. For today's biggest news. Access.
Local, regional, international, this is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
Cayman Finance says it fully supports actions being taken by the Cayman Islands government to constructively engage with European Union officials with an aim of reversing an EU decision to include the jurisdiction on a list of non-cooperative jurisdictions for tax purposes. Cayman Finance CEO Jude Scott notes that some 30 other jurisdictions were removed after taking necessary actions, and he looks forward to the same happening where the Cayman Islands are concerned. In international headlines, a federal judge today refused to delay sentencing for Trump confidant Roger Stone on his conviction for witness tampering and lying to Congress. The decision by Judge Amy Berman Jackson came after U.S. President Donald Trump tweeted in defense of his longtime ally and said Stone's conviction, quote, should be thrown out. Stone's defense team has requested a new trial and today lobbied to delay the sentencing. But with Stone present on a speakerphone from his lawyer's office, Jackson ruled that delaying the sentencing would not be a prudent thing to do. Stone is scheduled to be sentenced on Thursday. The worst locust outbreak that parts of East Africa have seen in 70 years has reached South Sudan, a country where roughly half the population already faces hunger after years of civil war. Officials today said around 2,000 locusts were spotted inside the country. Authorities are trying to control the outbreak. Those are your headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom. I'm April Cummings.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. It's open line 949-8037 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. And quick little message that came in. The person says, don't include me into the sort of the gift certificate. But here's my little take. And it was a little, I guess that's a meme. I don't know. I have to ask my children what it's called, but a little image of little things that transpire. So I guess it's a meme. It's, perhaps not necessarily best to describe it. I'm sure if I've seen it, others have as well. But the person's comment is simply, okay, you said think. And the person says, well, my thought is act. Let's do something. So there you go. But maybe the two should go hand in hand, right? Think and then act, and act about, in a way. So what is it that you think that we're not doing? Is it that we're not acting, but then we're not even thinking at all? And when we do act, there's no thought at all. It's just a thought, and if some of us would work it through. I only ask that to ask this, from the perspective of where a country is. For some of us, if we were at 1 million, people strong, that wouldn't be enough. For some of us, 10,000 are too many. There is going to be, a growth in our population, whether that's a deliberate managed growth with a deliberate intent to increase the population because, you need a critical mass, you need a taxable base, you need more consumers for the businesses, whatever it is. The question is, though, what is that going to look like and over what time will that transpire? Is it a deliberate, conscious act? We know the Honorable Premier said, nope, there isn't. It's just going to happen, and whatever it is, it is. Now, for a long time, many people saying, well, do you know there's an attempt? Some alleged that it was the British government growing the population or encouraging the country to grow the population. Others are saying, oh, no, it's the other way around and what have you. But so be it. Let's go to our phones. Welcome, good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Dwayne, good afternoon, sir. How are you doing? Kenneth Ebanks.
Mr. Ebanks, sir. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good and getting better.
I tell you what, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah, because I ate the other half of your chocolate.
You know what? I think good chocolate, if it's not consumed in a reasonable time after opening, it just goes to waste. And so you can't sit there and let it go to waste, right?
You got it.
All right, but I'll tell you what, I'll buy some more, and then that way we can break it together.
Sounds good.
So what's on your mind, man? And again, I sincerely apologize. Miss Susan asked me equally to extend her apology to you. We had a news break coming, as you know, but you have so much to share, and we want to get to it. So thank you very much.
I got so much to share.
Yeah, man, you have a wealth of wisdom, I mean,
I'm a poor retiree,
and
as skinny as a dogwood leaf.
Yeah. Well, it could be worse,
Yeah. No. That aside, Dwayne, I am extremely disappointed with current and past administrations, and hopefully not future ones, but access to our beaches now is becoming a major issue, and I see where one particular entity on the island talking about, have been fairly successful in closing certain rights of way to the beach, along 7 Mile Beach. And the solution is to move us up to Barkers, where they propose to do a lot of quote-unquote eco-development. But they're going to start by destroying acres of marine habitat.
Is that a misnomer? Eco-development?
No.
Okay.
Well, it depends on how you define development.
Okay.
In my view, buildings alone doesn't constitute buildings and roads and what have you. Doesn't constitute development. Okay, I mean, there's some physical buildings and stuff, but unless you look at it from a comprehensive overview where you include the social, the economic, the environmental, then the physical alone just doesn't give a true enough definition of development. But I am extremely disappointed in that we are allowing this one entity to close all not all, but those that are under their control, accesses to the beach, and they're telling us bayers and towners, you go up Barkers because you aren't good enough for 7 Mile Beach. I mean, what enticed them to come to Cayman in the first place? Was it the Caymanians? I mean, that's what started our tourism, and you can read in numerous media, Caymanians is what made tourism. However, they want to put us on a reservation up in Barkers, and then as far east as East End, because we aren't good enough for 7 Mile Beach.
So other side, other mine.
Other side, other mine.
Okay.
And more Caymanians, I'm imploring you all to get up, stand up, and demand from your elected persons. Because I'm not going to say I don't call them all representatives because they don't fit that description either.
Okay.
Because they can only see as far as the next 4 years.
Is it that far that they can see?
Well, put it this way. You hear a lot of them saying, well, I can't vote for this because it's going to affect my re-election possibilities. So whether or not it's 4 years, 2 years,
okay,
3 years, okay. But,
Fair enough.
Yeah. They normally would not take a stance that would affect their re-election campaigns.
Okay. So, I mean, and then I'm happy to take the licks if it comes that way. But respectfully, if you elect people...
You got bigger shoulders than me.
Well, listen, they say when you're short, if you can't be muscular, then you really, what you got. So I'm working on the muscular part because I don't think I can work on getting taller. So... no, but if we elect people to do something for us, all right, one, we believe that they not only have the competence, but they have the constitution to do this thing because it's the right thing to do, all right? And they're going about it, doing it. If we are not, again, we the electorate, the voters, if we're not happy, or we don't think they're on the right path, or they're veering off the path that they were on that was right, why are we so wishy-washy and not call them to task?
Dwayne, there are probably myriad of reasons why certain people don't want to voice their concerns publicly. Some are probably more valid than others, but that whole discussion would be enough for one show. But what I do know is that a number have spoken to me because they don't want to voice their concerns publicly.
Okay. Well, let me read this to you.
And with my muscular frame, it feels I can take a lot more blows than them.
But you have the intellect as well. All right. Somebody says, and I appreciate this listener's perspective, say, I think a major improvement could be achieved if quote-unquote accountability of public and elected officers was enforced, right?
Yeah.
So is that part of the challenge then? That issue of accountability. The parent isn't holding the child accountable. The parent isn't being held accountable for bad parenting and the like. So there's no accountability anywhere.
Of course. I mean, when you can sort of destroy the institutions that would sort of guarantee accountability, then, what do you have to fear?
Okay, but have we not in our, can I still call it our new constitution? Oh, by the way, isn't it the 20th that we have to make some comment on to some of the changes, including calling it a parliament now, instead of a legislative assembly and whatever the other ones are? Right. Where's the public discussion on those things?
Dwayne, a number of people would want to come forward and discuss those and offer their opinions, but probably some, again, for a myriad of reasons.
Right. Fair enough. And that's why I appreciate you and others, being willing to share, because I'm hoping that as a public, we're not only willing to listen, but understand that there is, and you please allow me to say, there is an intellect as well as an experience. So not just expertise, but experience, as you said, semi-retired, as it were. So hopefully getting an opportunity to be blessed to live a sufficient amount of years on Earth, we may have encountered, if not experienced, certain things. Can I, before I ask you of two things that you were sharing earlier, can I just read another WhatsApp that came through?
Yes.
Do you have time?
My telecommunication provider say I have 2 minutes left.
Well, listen, we can call you back. I mean, if I have a problem, we can do that, because why these things are things.
I'm more putting it.
I know. I just teasing you, man. I teasing you, and I want to say, well, I'm not gonna create it wrong, but I'm not gonna do that. I'll leave that alone. I would say something else too, but people say, boy, you really need to get off fair with the political correct tone. All right, let me do this. Thanks for it. This person writes. Let me hold it far enough away from my face to read it. It says, referring to the last caller who spoke about one developer wanting to move the beach accesses from along 7 Mile Beach. I am appalled to read that the CPA, for those who don't know, it's referring to the Central Planning Authority, has already granted the approval for this. What is going on with the CPA anyway? They seem to be working directly for this same unnamed private developer. Very sad. Any thoughts?
Well, I don't want to go and say that you're quote unquote working for that developer, again, that entity. What I would say is that a number of their decisions would tend to favor that entity.
Right.
And in 1977, Development Plan Law and Regulations, 1977, gave the CPA the authority to request a 6-foot right-of-way from the road to the sea once the property on the seaside was more than was 200 feet or more.
200 feet or more. And then we've seen a couple of developments of condos in particular being surveyed to come up to 199.99999 feet.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Anyway. Sorry, did I say that loud?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's the truth.
It is. I mean, that's... if I know it, everybody must know it, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. So let me ask then. The idea of beach access is and the Public Lands Commission. If that's what it's called, Public Lands Commission, we got something in law now that talks about this thing, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at beach accesses and we look at Barkas in particular, we hear people expressing concern that yes, there may be some sort of usage up there that potentially could be doing some environmental concerns relative to the use of the commercialization of the area with respect to the turtle grass and the periwinkles and maybe the inability of the other beach goer to use the beach and the water because of commercialized activities. Yet no seemingly plan as to how to manage the whole space for everybody else, right? And then as the space becomes more accessible and open, whatever was that attracted people to it in the first place is now being lost. Not to improve it for safety and the like, but again for the dollar short term. So the Public Lands Commission now, specifically, if we were to sail along, the 7 Mile Beach, if a beach access is here and there is a space that seemingly was public, either by prescriptive use or even registered or marked or what have you, is no longer because of something, where is the representation? Where is the authority of those who are supposed to have the vested interests?
Dwayne, that's a very good question. I'm hoping that at least the 4 reps we have in West Bay would be able to come out and answer those questions, because on the surface, it doesn't appear as though they are saying or doing much. So I am asking my fellow Caymanians whether you, by quote-unquote birth or, as some people say, by paper, you are a Caymanian.
A Caymanian, yeah.
make your voices heard, because in the not too distant future, we are not going to be able to walk the 7 Mile Beach.
Yeah. Well,
because we are deemed to be not worthy of walking or swimming on 7 Mile Beach, because they can do something similar to what's up Rum Point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at Starfish Point now.
Yeah, well, even the use of that, adoption of that name for that area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But look at that now.
Mm-hmm.
When those condos are built there, how many other charter boats are going to be allowed to go there?
But wasn't that an area?
You wouldn't be able to get to it from the road.
Nope. Right. Finally, let me ask you, in that particular area, and I probably should know this specifically, but you remember way back when, and I'll say even, as recent as the 70s, whether on a commercial, touristing trip like how we used to do, or whether we did as a family. You take your boat across North Sound, you went in there, and you could only get to it by boat, and you pull up on the beach, and you relax, maybe you cook some food. Was that the same general area that people would go?
Well, based on where my old man used to go,
that's what I'm thinking of here.
Point,
mm-hmm.
That was literally more or less where they have that concrete dock now.
Okay.
Was generally where they had a much short, it's probably about 100 feet long.
Okay.
So we used to go into Rum Point itself. Sometimes we would go over to Starfish Point to look for starfish.
Right.
But again, that was only accessible
by boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so should there have been a prescriptive right that have? I'm just wondering, and looking at what other jurisdictions have done to preserve accesses to spaces like that, we've perhaps found a way to exclude people.
Well, if we had still in place the original high water mark, which looked to the vegetation, as opposed now to this one that is not theoretical, but
yeah,
it is to an extent, which is plus 0.45 feet above the average or the mean sea level.
0.45. Sorry.
Less than 6 inches.
Yep.
Less than 6 inches.
You got to walk with your 1 foot in front of the next one.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Right. So, right now, legally, no one has the right to stop you from walking along there.
Right.
But there are some surveys that now has moved that new high water mark out into the sea.
Yeah. Yep.
I am going to get a map of a property along 7 Mile Beach where the high water mark is now out on the ledges.
Yep.
Which means that if you want to cross that property
you go in the water.
You have to go out there.
Well, I'll leave this with you. I had an opportunity to speak to someone who, understands horticulture and plants and all sorts of things. And sometimes in the conversation with her, I'm like, well, it's a good thing you're pleasant to talk to her, because I have no idea what you're saying, right? It's just so knowledgeable and so, egalitarian, but equally just so enthusiastic, right? So that green shiny bush that we've seen in recent years growing on the beach? Is this green shiny bush? I call it a bush. From the West Bay told me it's invasive and it came here, washed up on the shore.
I think it's called scavola.
Scavola, is that? Yeah, that sounds like the word, yeah. And it's pretty, but it'll grow. He said if you stand too long next to it, it'll start growing you. I mean, it grows fast and it grows good, right?
It does.
Yeah. Well, if I'm not misunderstanding what she had shared with me sometime long back ago, is that this thing, if you plant it in the middle of your concrete driveway or your asphalt road, and you were able to trench it and just let it grow, it'll work its way all the way to Cuba. I mean, down through the sand into the water.
Yeah.
And she sort of, made the connection that if we were to look at the cocoa plum and the grape trees that only grew so far, no further, that was our vegetation. And if the vegetation was utilized as the way of the high water mark and low water mark and the idea of what was beach access, then it was a natural one. But with this bush, you would end up out by the quay if you were somewhere else. No, I know she said it much more eloquently and so on, but that's basically the picture. Is that a fair interpretation of what this thing is like?
Dwayne, I could not agree or disagree.
With, I guess it was our man.
How far it can grow.
Yeah.
But I know that it's a very invasive species. But it'll be able to survive from here to Cuba on the water. I'm not quite sure. She may be able to give you more insight than I can.
All right.
I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
But
well, listen.
What I am sure of is that if we Caymanians do not get together and demand more representation from our elected officials, we are going to be in a horrible state in a not too distant future.
What can I leave two things?
Like Gabby said, it is mine.
Yep.
And I do not mind spending, I will spend a couple of days, months, weeks in Northwood. I prefer that than not having the ability to access 7 Mile Beach.
Yeah, well, sadly, and I hope people don't take that comment lightly, sadly, that could be the writing on the wall. I'll leave you with two things. One, if you wish to answer. Somebody said, you said West Bay and prominent in the same sentence. Do they go actually together? Why your friends, you see, man? And someone says, what is really considered the high water mark? Now, I know you just referenced it earlier. Quickly, could you just remind us, legally, what is the high water mark? What is that space on the beach that is legal for the public to traverse?
Okay. If you look at just pick any time of the day and you see the sea, let's assume that is at 0.0 feet. That is mean high tide. Okay. Or mean sea level.
Mean sea level, yeah.
Yeah. Now, the tide rises and falls. When it rises up to about a little less than 6 inches, 0.45 feet, less than a half a foot.
Sorry.
If you look now where the sea sort of laps onto the beach, some places got 10, 15, maybe 20 feet. That where the sea stops lapping there, roughly where the high water mark would be. So between that and the sea, where you can legally traverse.
Right. And in the past, it was the practice that between that and the vegetation, the cocoa plums and the grape sea and grape trees, was where was beach access, public beach.
Right. That's what the prescription law allows us to go fish. But of course, if you're going to do that now, then you'll have half of it RCIPS down on you. The whole another story all over again.
Right.
So it is time for our elected officials to say no. The beach is public, and there's always been. It has to remain.
Right.
Otherwise, the social fabric of Cayman is not going to remain as it is today.
Right. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking the extended time. Personally, very grateful for the education. Yeah, do that, do that. I think Susan got a raise; she can pay for it.
Okay.
and I hope that I honestly hope to get a chance to chat with you, more and more. You've been, as I found it, very helpful. If I may share with you, 1, 2, 3, 4 people messaged in. Words to this effect. I'll just read the first one. Thank the caller for the explanation, and I got that from 4 texts in different variations. So you've been very, very informative. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. And let's break some chocolate one of these days.
Man, let's do that. I will accept it. Blessings to you. All right.
Okay, man. Thanks.
Thank you. And this is why I like this place. We have some wonderful people who can trace their ancestral roots back to Adam and Eve, probably, sitting on the Barker's Key. The others, they've probably only been here for the last 30, 40 years, some a little bit longer. Some have only been here a short time, but they have a vested interest. They invested in this place. I'm not just talking financially, mentally, emotionally. They're part of this fabric. They love this place. They want to see the continued social harmony, the economic prosperity, the political stability. Let's find a way to make it better, to improve it. It's not that it's impossible. All right. What we're going to do, we're going to pause and take a break. We're going to invite you to return. Half-hour discussion with our good friends from the HSA, the Health Services Authority. We're going to talk about the Children's Dental Health Month for a bit. 2 o'clock, go to the news. Then in the remaining half hour, open line. That is the plan. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman will be holding a prostate and colon cancer awareness meeting at the John Grier Memorial United Church Hall in West Bay on Tuesday, February 18th at 7:30 p.m. Free PSA testing will be available along with a presentation by guest speaker Dr. Shillingford. PSA testing will be done by Royal Medical and Wellness Center. For more information on prostate and colon cancer awareness, join the Lions Club of Grand Cayman on Tuesday, February 18th at 7:30 p.m. at the John Grier Memorial United Church Hall in West Bay.
The 2020 Cayman Arts Festival is here with performances by the young, talented and versatile Lana Janjanin Trio, a musical mix of classical, jazz, soul and R&B. Saturday, February 22nd, 7 p.m. at the Camana Bay Cinema. Tickets are $40 US for adults and $15 for students. Tickets are available at www.caymanartsfestival.com. For more information, call 922-5550 or email inquiries at caymanartsfestival.com.
Like an illusion.
If your business is over here, but your customers are over here, adding more yellow to your business will bring you both right here. With everyone searching yellows, print, online, and mobile app, getting your business noticed is easier than ever. Book your consultation today at findyellow.com.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we're really, honestly, truly grateful to our continued partnership with our Health Services Authority. And as we, get a chance now to celebrate Children's Dental Health Month, Dr. Andrea, thank you very much for joining us, and Nurse Veronica for coming on board. We look at other children in particular, and we think, all right, it's important to get them comfortable, with going to the physicians as they're born straight through life, that they understand the importance of talking to their physicians, to developing that relationship, for looking after our health. And sometimes, in particular, our oral health, when we got to go to the dentist or the hygienist, there's this, even in big grown muscular men, there's this reticence. So we're going to dispel that. Hey, I looked it up. It's a good word. No, but anyway, as we're sort of bringing awareness, what is the purpose? Well, first, good afternoon. Welcome. Any initial thoughts that you guys want to share with us? Let's start there.
Well, this month is actually being celebrated to bring awareness. I would say to good habits and better choices for our children. And there's a word that I'm going to use that's probably going to make somebody's ears tickle. It's called convenience. And we've not really determined the convenience of fast foods and how they affect our health, and how we just hand out the candies and the sodas as rewards and all of those things. So they affect eventually how our children's dental health is seen.
Convenience.
Yes.
Isn't it true?
I just want to thank you for having us today, and thank the public for allowing us to serve their children for them since 1974. That's how long the school's dental service has been around, and that's how long we've partnered with parents and the community in general. So,
well, I was going to say, but maybe I shouldn't. I was going to say, some of us can remember when this was being introduced, but I don't remember that at all.
I've been with the service for 18 years, so now I'm having the pleasure of treating my grand patients. So patients, when I just arrived on the island in 2002, they are now bringing their children in.
Yes.
And because of the comfort level they had, they're able to introduce this comfort level to their children. So it's been a wonderful partnership.
And I think
with
too,
parents.
The idea that we may remember, perhaps it was primary schools, there was a class, might have been called health or what have you.
Yes.
As students, you went out there, you had to look at how to brush your teeth properly, flossing, the little things, and the deliberate practice of after lunch, you would go as a groups monitored by teachers to teach you to complement what you were being done at home.
Yes.
You know what? Good habits are good habits.
And as long as we start the good habits early, the children will follow through with them. Before you go to bed at night, make sure you brush your teeth. And before you leave home in the morning, make sure you brush your teeth. That is a good habit to instill in our children.
I was, if I may ask of you, and only out of great deference to the individual that asks, we sometimes, as parents, as adults, just generally speaking, take for granted that everybody has good or relatively good, oral hygiene.
True.
We brush our teeth before we go to bed. I mean,
I can give you the scenarios. A child will come in for an exam and then for dental examination, and I will stop and say, okay, mommy, let's talk about the brushing. And then we hear, but I send them every night to brush their teeth. We take it for granted that it's something we have to monitor. We have to teach, or we have to instill in our children good oral habits. And one of the ways to instill it is for us as parents to have the same good oral habits, and it will become normal for them. It will be just like breathing. It happens.
So you have to teach and model.
You have to teach and model.
Yes. All right. And the interesting thing too, Dwayne, is that they like participation. They're good imitators.
Yep.
So the minute they see mommy and daddy doing the same thing, oh, I could do that too, especially the young ones. And can I try it? And Disney has done a great service to the dental profession in that every cartoon character now has toothpaste. So, and I mean, Belle and Beauty and the Beast, they've got their own toothpaste, Yes. So, and any one of those things will stimulate for them to say, okay, I can follow through what mommy and daddy's doing and keep my mouth clean.
Well, I'm glad I don't see much of the Beast, but a whole lot of the Beauty, so that's good. But, it is modeling, and I think maybe sadly some listening are going, but dental hygiene, I mean, don't you have more important things to think of? Very, very gracious for the HSA for all the different facets, and not just the sort of Children's Dental Health Month, but the notion that if we were, as policymakers, as parents, look down the road, that convenience that we have now with, the foods, the access to the different sugary drinks,
it's too easy,
right? But then equally, that carelessness, if I could use that, if that's not too much, too critical, to ensuring, hey, little Johnny, let's make sure we brush our teeth properly, not just brush them, so that down the road there isn't this significant financial cost.
Yes,
right.
Because dentistry is getting more expensive every day.
No,
so
it's not expensive.
Prevention is really what we push a lot. And so when we start saying to children, you need to start flossing, and they look and says, what's that? And then you start teaching them this is what you do and why you're doing it. And so in school, I have a little different philosophy. I get to color the plaque, and they get to find it, and it's called a search for Mr. Plaque, and whatever color you want to put it on. It's fun. You could do it at home. Do some food coloring and let them try it. And plaque can be green and blue or purple as long as you find him and you get rid of him.
Yeah. Right. Sorry, Dr. Andrea.
The beautiful thing with our partnership actually starts before a child is born. So we're working with mothers and fathers if they attend the parent craft classes before they're born, and we can teach what you need to do so that when the child is born, the information is already there. In our small society, and I love the fact that it's a small society, there are times when I'll go into fosters and I can say, okay, your child missed an appointment. Please call back and remake the appointment. So everybody's close. So we can do our teaching very close. As a service with our children's dental service, we started out when Pan American Health Organization reviewed our service before 1990. We were on an unacceptable level of decayed, missing, filled teeth in 5-year-olds will be 5. So they should not have 5 teeth that are missing because of extraction or decayed, or we had to fill it. And before 1990, our level was between 3 and 5, which is pretty much you're trying, you're growing, you're trying. Since 2004, we are in the acceptable range, and we've managed to keep that through our children's dental service. So we're less than 3. For the most part, the bulk of our children, we've kept them caries-free through our community preventive programs or toothbrushing programs in school. We go into preschools. We've been able to do that.
Because of the partnership.
Because of the partnerships. Partnerships with Colgate, partnerships with public health to get us products, educational materials. However, we do still have pockets, little pockets here and there, where our levels are unacceptable, and that's where the team come in.
Yes.
We work, we educate, we demonstrate, we
eradicate.
Eradicate, yes, that is right.
Those pockets, because those are the things that intrigue me. We have identified gaps, the pockets.
Yes.
Whether you wish to share that public, but you know those pockets, where they exist. We know the
pockets.
And we know how to deploy the resources to address it.
We do.
Are we getting success in those pockets?
It's to address that, it's a bit of a long haul, because some of the parents are young, and so they'll tell you, like, I can't reach, but you say that send somebody with them. If you can't come, send somebody with them. And don't wait. Some of them wait till the child actually has pain before they show up. And then they want you to do a miracle in 25, 30 minutes that they took a year to create. That's one of the disadvantages of the pockets, because they still only see it as, okay, nothing's wrong with them, so I don't have to bring them in.
Yeah, there's no pain, there's nothing visible then and there. Kind of, okay. We had just 3 parents, honestly. I enjoy when people say, well, what's coming up today? What's coming up tomorrow? And so only 3 parents asked the question. I thought they were talking to, those are on the teenagers and on a certain age, but above a certain boy child versus girl child.
Yes.
Okay, so there is
That's interesting.
All right.
Yes.
Let's go to the break. Could we ask her about that when we come back and tell you?
Yes,
all right,
could.
but let me make sure. Miss Susan, we want to do that break now, Mom? All right, so the boy, child, girl. Okay, so because I'm interested to know what this is. All right, we're going to pause and take a break. You see how we're talking about teeth and oral health can be exciting? Leave it to me, Bobo. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman will be holding a prostate and colon cancer awareness meeting at the John Gray Memorial United Church Hall in West Bay on Tuesday, February 18th at 7:30 p.m. Free PSA testing will be available along with a presentation by guest speaker Dr. Shillingford. PSA testing will be done by Royal Medical and Wellness Center. For more information on prostate and colon cancer awareness, join the Lions Club of Grand Cayman on Tuesday, February 18th at 7:30 p.m. at the John Gray Memorial United Church Hall in West Bay. Red Sky at Night. Terrific live music, actors, dancers, comedians, and poets. Over 100 artists and artisans selling paintings, crafts, jewelry, and accessories, as well as delicious local food. Red Sky at Night at the Harquail Cultural Center. Saturday, February 29th, 4 p.m. to midnight. Don't miss out. Tickets on sale now at eventpro.ky. A CNCF production. Sponsored by Hurley's Media, Pepsi, Caribbean Airlines, and Radio Cayman. Preventing dengue is as simple as preventing mosquito bites. Use a mosquito repellent, wear protective clothing, and stay indoors during early dawn and dusk when mosquitoes are most active. Control the places around you where mosquitoes breed. Remove stagnant water in outdoor and household settings. As a weekly habit, persons should change the water in vases, clear the water in saucers under potted plants, and ensure air conditioner drip trays are free of stagnant water. Outdoor objects capable of holding water should be kept empty and preferably disposed of or put into dry storage if not used. These include open bottles and tins, watering cans, buckets, empty paint tins, and old vehicle tires. Do your part to control the spread of dengue. The dengue virus is an infectious disease transmitted through mosquito bites. Symptoms may come on as early as 4 days or as late as 3 weeks following an infection. There is no vaccine or specific medication to treat dengue. Symptoms of dengue include high fever, headache, pain behind the eyes, joint and muscle pain, and rash. If persons have any of these symptoms, they should go to the nearest health center or hospital. It is advised to drink lots of liquids and avoid medication that contains aspirin.
So far, more than 175 Cayman parrot owners have registered their birds with the Department of Environment.
That's good, but we know it's not all of them.
You have until February 29th to sign up to register your parrot.
Unregistered Cayman parrots found in captivity after that will be considered illegal.
Remember, registration allows you to legally keep your bird. We don't want to take away anyone's pet.
So do what's right.
Register your Cayman parrot and help us protect our national bird.
For more information, contact the Department of Environment.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman will be holding a prostate and colon cancer awareness meeting at the John Gray Memorial United Church Hall in West Bay on Tuesday, February 18th at 7:30 p.m. Free PSA testing will be available along with a presentation by guest speaker Dr. Shillingford. PSA testing will be done by Royal Medical and Wellness Center. For more information on prostate and colon cancer awareness, join the Lions Club of Grand Cayman on Tuesday, February 18th at 7:30 p.m. at the John Gray Memorial United Church Hall in West Bay.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you so much, and really thankful to the Health Services Authority. This time, Children's Dental Health Month, as we had a chance to talk to Dr. Andrea and Nurse Veronica. You know, it is great as parents to have a partner to help us to help our children develop good habits, and especially when it comes to our health, whether it's our dental or oral health, whether it's otherwise, and especially sometimes when we can't see the things.
Yes.
I mean, I know, but I won't call her name, but I know a mother who, if you stand still long enough, you've been a parent, she'll probably come and inspect your mouth too, because she thinks that's a good sign of how healthy you are.
Yes.
But for her children, hey, not only are you brushing your teeth, but let's go and be brushing it together. So
yes.
modeling and practicing and teaching. I asked during the break though, boy and girl, boy child, girl child. I can see some parents go, oh, he didn't ask that, but anyway.
Well, I'm actually kind of glad that you did ask that, because there is a difference. We have boy children that will skip 1 and 2 days and don't bat an eyelid and say, you know, oh, okay, it's not nothing.
Yeah.
I'll have them show up in my office at school and they'll say to me, Ma'am, I got some worms and germs you need to look at. And worms and germs, of course, is plaque in their eyes when you've shown them what it looks like. And they'll take their finger and scratch it off and say, see? And I'm like, no, that's not what you do. But a little girl will come in and her concern is that, is she doing it right? She says, because Mom, I don't want to have bad breath. And she said, but my brother, and she'll tell me, my brother, now my mother got to chase him, make sure he do it. And you look at the difference and you think, okay, what are we missing? Is it just that he's just so laid back and he doesn't think it's important? I had a couple of little kids, boys, if they weren't going out, they didn't see the need to brush their teeth.
I agree wholeheartedly. I will not call the names of any boys or say who Andrew, they're related to.
Barry, Charles, David, okay, ABCD.
Doesn't matter. I won't even say who they're related to. But I had a friend who told me once that you will never get him to willingly bathe or brush his teeth until he gets older and becomes very conscious. And I would say that in my little unscientific study, across the board with most of the patients, the boys are not interested in...
They're lagging behind.
They do lag behind the girls. The girls become more conscious
Self-aware.
About self.
But in all fairness,
But when they catch up...
Yeah, when they catch up and they get the message, oh man, it's like they cannot do it often enough.
Okay, well, I appreciate those 3 parents deliberately asking me to ask about that, right? And I'm thinking now, as parents in particular, let's pay attention so that we encourage, we take a little extra time to
and reinforce, constantly reinforce.
Okay.
And boys have a hard time flossing. And so I'll say
you
to
said
them,
boys, men, fathers.
boys and men. Boys, the men, their hands
gosh.
are bigger, the mouth is smaller, and they won't necessarily. They'll sit down, watch a whole football game, and don't even think, okay, I need to floss and get it done. It just does not appear on their their list of things to do. So I'm cognizant of that. So when we talk to, especially fathers that come to Parent Craft, after commending them for showing up, and you say to them, look, there is an aspect of this you are going to need to participate in, and that's in helping your child to form good habits, and that is brushing and flossing your teeth. It's not only mommy's job to make sure that is done. And then this is a certain age group, though, because the boys, when they get interested in girls and they know that girls like to have nice breath and all these different things, they do push and go the extra mile. So when they get to high school and they see somebody that they fancy, I've seen it.
That word.
Yeah.
Should take a fancy
and parents, don't feel terrible if you have to just sit in the bathroom and watch them do it. And you pick up on cues. For instance, you will say, well, how come you're out so my son once thought that I could see through walls because
Sorry, you mean mother's cat?
Yeah, I would say, go back and brush your teeth. And he's like, well, how do you know? I saw through the wall.
Reinforce that. Reinforce. So I tell parents. I tell parents they brush, but you clean. So there's a little difference. If they want to do it again, go back and let them do it, but you inspect. And if you need to inspect with some food coloring, that's very good too.
Yeah. A fellow civil servant, and I have a mother and I have a friend I appreciate. After Ivan, a lot of us lost.
A lot of things.
Yeah, including toothbrushes and toothpaste for a period of time. And she quickly reminded us, as a mother, so remember when the children were young, we got a clean, soft, wet cloth.
Rag.
Yes. Yeah, when, after the child finished nursing, you clean the gums, right?
Yes,
but
highly
she said,
recommended.
Hey, do that now with your teeth as an adult. And the way she shared that was just a little reminder of little things that may go out the window. Now, I'm thinking back to that conversation. I'm wondering, she was probably talking to the men. I should call her. But it was helpful, right? So
it is helpful.
All right.
Yeah.
So as parents, well, talk to us more, because I mean, oral health is important, and the things we do now could not only save us significant money down the road, but our own health and well-being could be negatively affected.
Yes.
If we ignore it or we're not consciously doing stuff. Is that what I'm getting?
Yes. Because if we ignore it now, I'm going to use a word that most people don't like. It's called neglect.
Okay.
And when we neglect and we miss our appointments, and you end up with the results of plaque being around too long, called periodontal disease, you have a problem. You develop pockets, and pockets in your mouth is going to create a whole new set of problems, because already you're going to have sensitivity, you're going to have issues that is going to require restorative work done, and you end up losing teeth because of that. So even though you do not have a death ratio as so connected to dental caries, it does happen because of poor care.
So
one of the things that we take for granted is the number of school days missed. Number of school days missed because of toothache. So I will have a parent who will show up with a child to my emergency clinic on a Wednesday morning and will tell me that, well, she's been home since Friday because of a toothache. But why didn't you come before? I was waiting to see if it would go away. So you will have a child who has missed 4 days of school because of a toothache.
Plus the weekend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, adults will miss work days because of a toothache. And we in the Cayman Islands, we have such a huge preventive program. The government invests a lot of money into our preventive services, that it's something that everyone, including parents, should really take the opportunity to just grab. Because the children in school are seen and treated at no cost. There's no cost to them. There's a cost to the government, but there's no cost to them. So it's really something that they should make full. And I will tell the children all the time, come in and do this, because when you turn 18, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. Come get it done now.
So is that a problem as a society for some reason? One, I'm just asking. We don't see it right then and there. It's not a toothache. It's nothing major right then and there. So it's a hidden thing. Until it materializes, we don't do anything. Is that part of the reason why we're not there, or is it just because, well,
it's not causing pain.
Right.
Okay.
It's not causing pain, and anything that causes pain, people want it fixed now.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The other thing in the scheme of things, and I say convenience again, because when you have a youngster that's still bottle feeding, and they're on the bottle for a longer period of time than they're supposed to be, and they end up with what we in the field call bottle caries. And they end up with 6 and 8 cavities by the time they're 3 and 4. That is now very unacceptable. And we're trying to change that. We've been trying to change it for years, but it comes back to choices.
Okay. So I recognize that you have to get back to your practice, and I certainly appreciate it. So in interest of time, as parents in particular, because we're the ones that have to model and teach and encourage and monitor. And there was another word that you liked. Hey, go watch and make sure. What do we do? What advice do you have for us to help, that child, boy and the girl?
Start the good habits early. Soon as they get out the blocks. I will tell parents. They'll say, "When am I supposed to come in?" I say, "Well, do they have teeth? Bring them in. Doesn't matter if it's 1 or 2. Let me look at it." That way they can get used to the surroundings, the equipment, and know that this is an okay place to be in. Rather than waiting until there's a problem, it's later, and the poor child is crying before they even see the building.
Yes.
So especially if they have older siblings, take them in, them see the older siblings. What we
modeling.
What I know I do at Bordentown Health Center is when I see parents come in for their well baby checkups, I kind of just grab them and say, look, if I'm busy, well, I can't do it then, but I encourage them. And the pediatricians work with me in that aspect. Just go ahead, make an appointment, or if I have some downtime, I'll take them right there and then. Do an examination so they get comfortable and know that this is a place they're supposed to come. Not only just well baby checkups, but well baby oral health checkups.
Well, yeah, I hope. That's Veronica. Yeah.
And just to some people may be wondering, okay, where do I find out information for this? We start early. We partner with Public Health, and on the Monday of every month, we have the parent craft sessions. And so even if you're not pregnant, please come so that we are able to give you the information. The information is free, and we cover a wide variety of things that are topics that are related to health. And you have that in your arsenal. At least you say, oh, I'll know what to do with this when my child actually comes, and what to do from there on in.
So this is each and every Monday?
Each and every Monday.
I think it's
5:30 to 7 at the Women's Resource, Women's Health at the hospital.
Wow.
And then beyond that, we have visits to all the preschools.
And all the government primary schools. As well as the high schools. There's no reason that they shouldn't be.
For the schools without a clinic,
the health
we do have a
centers are there.
mobile clinic, and then we also have children's services at Bordentown Health Center. So it's all there. And the government.
I recognize that this is in the time of your busiest day, school is on. But at some point, if you wish, please accept the public invite to come back and we talk more about it because it's important.
It is.
If you would. All right.
Okay. Thank you for having us.
Dr. Andrea, thank you very much. And I hope that the next time you come that we'll be as hospitable, if not more so you feel more comfortable. How about that? Well, thanks very much. All right.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy your afternoon. Hey, we'll briefly recap after the break, but it's going to be some open lines. So stay tuned for Talk Today. Get the headline news. And when we come back, well, what do we have for you? Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Today's biggest news.
Radio K-Man.
It's only 2 species that we have on Ireland.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
For today's biggest news.
Access.
Local, regional, international, this is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
A silver Honda Accord smashes into a wall in Peace Bay on Monday afternoon just before 4 p.m. Officers say the car was headed east on Bordentown Road when it left the roadway and collided with the wall. Emergency services attended the scene, and the driver of the vehicle was transported to the Cayman Islands Hospital, treated for non-life-threatening injuries, and subsequently discharged. The incident is under investigation. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. Democratic presidential candidate Michael Bloomberg will take part in a nomination debate for the first time tomorrow, his campaign has confirmed. In order to take part in the Nevada debate, he had to poll above double digits in 4 national polls recognized by the Democratic Party. On Tuesday, a NPR and PBS NewsHour Marist poll found he had support from 19% of those surveyed. And a Facebook page that seemed to be sharing local news in North Carolina is a textbook example of a disinformation campaign. The site accumulated more than 50,000 followers in less than a month, but also raised suspicions in what was peddling fake news. Administrators of the site claimed to be students at the North Carolina State University working on a news project. The university told BBC News that was not the case and blamed Russian bots. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Do you think my kid is not into that? When it comes to marijuana and other drugs, well, think again. Being a teen in this country isn't easy. They face a lot of pressures and might overlook the values you taught them. Even the teen least expected can be tempted to try drugs. As a parent, you are the biggest influence in your kids' lives. So when you're talking to them, be clear and firm about the subject of drugs. Listen to them. They might be at a crossroad and need your help. Talk to your teens about drugs before someone else does. For more information, call 949-9000 or visit us at www.ndc.ky. This message is brought to you by the National Drug Council.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. It's going to be some open line as we had shared at the outset of the program, but I'm very, very grateful for our continued partnership with the Health Services Authority, and if Miss Monique over there doesn't mind, especially her, she's helping to coordinate the different, colleagues from the various departments coming over, and as we were talking about, children's dental health in particular, I hope that you find it useful. Hopefully you recognize how easy it is that we can take so much for granted. Sometimes as parents we're busy and we believe little Johnny, little Susie, they've went and they've done what we need them to do, that they know that they should do, that, but did they do it properly? Did we inspect? Did we have that conversation about, like in this case, their dental health? Not just because of the aesthetics or the hygiene aspect, but what will it mean for their overall good habits and their good health down the road? So as Nurse Veronica and Dr. Andrea shared, if your child is in school, preschool, primary school, middle school, high school and the like, the school dental services are available, avail yourself of that. If you're a parent and there's the parent craft classes, well, avail yourself of that. It's in my mind, my personal belief that the health and well-being of our people is the important part of our society, and it's our collective responsibility. So when the country invests in its health and education systems, then that is its true wealth. But it's open line though. Hey, what's on your mind? 949-8037, 949-6990. Someone had messaged in and I had looked at it and I closed it out and I thought, oh boy, what was it that person was sharing? Can I remember what they said? So I did quickly look at what they were sharing and trying to figure out how do I share this. And I was sort of doing the last caller prior to the break, had a quick glance, but in the notion that you should pay attention to when people are talking, that I would miss what he was sharing. I didn't look at it intently. And then while our guests were on just then, I thought it wasn't appropriate to do likewise. So quick glance during the last short news break. And the person is sharing, in a nutshell. I want to go back and read the extended sort of version of what was shared, that this is a society which on the face of it should be relatively easy, or perhaps easier, maybe what was being inferred, than other societies for us to, one, recognize that there's an issue, acknowledge it, perhaps address it, perhaps even, fix it, find a solution that is there. I give as an example, you're driving, down your own driveway and you see, there's a crack in your driveway. Now, it's probably because you were doing some renovations and something dropped on the driveway. Well, do you ignore it? And then when you fix it, how do you fix it? What do you use to fix it? Is it a simple fix? Is it something you can do because you have the resources and the knowledge? Or do you need to call in an expert? And when it's fixed, is it a patch just quickly, dab and splatter and paint and hopefully, ignore it? Or do you have to excavate a little bit further around and tie in and make it proper, do it right? Now, as this person wrote, the notion that in this society, is it now crucial that we start to list what are the challenges that the society face And how do we address them? Do we write them down on a list and say, okay, well, there's 10 things. Maybe there's 1,000 things. Maybe it's only one thing. But once we identify, then can we shuffle them around and say, well, this is urgent. It's not the most important, but it has to be addressed most immediately because it's urgent. Or it's not only urgent, but it's important. Now, there are those who would share that in their sort of management or critical thinking classes or the like, they have to do something similar. So they come up with a matrix, and then from there, their decisions are made. Others will say, well, isn't that just common sense? Now, this person in writing shared, well, what are we looking at in relation to our infrastructure? What are we looking at in relation to the sustainability, not only of our economy, but the ability for the economy to draw on resources, both locally and imported? Fuel for our cars, our homes, our businesses. But what about fuel for ourselves, our food? And again, as I read what was shared quickly, I scanned it down and it references, here's the agriculture show coming up. Do we have any more thought in terms of food security? Now, I know I scanned over it. I don't profess to read fast, certainly not as fast as some. So I may have either misinterpreted or misunderstood. But in scanning the document quickly, it seems that there's this whole notion of, well, what are we looking at in terms of being able to be more independent in certain ways, perhaps more sustainable. It could be a way to interpret it. But from that perspective, then, what about the long-term consequence of our actions? So with that in mind, what is it that you think is that thing that we should be doing? That should we do it, it'll be done, and it'll be good for all? Well, give us your thought. 9498037 or 1-800-534-8255, and be glad to hear from you. Have you share your perspective. Now, I had someone send me through a brain teaser, a riddle, and I was looking at it and I didn't get it. So I sent back, well, what's the answer? So if I get it, the answer back, I'll pose it to you, and then you can see what you think. Because my first reading of it, I thought, is this really a riddle that we can be shared publicly? And, well, we can figure this out. So what is the other thing that is on your mind that as you see what is going on, where is it that it's important that we look at? Because when we think of whether it's the financial sector and the lists, black, grey or otherwise, that we put on, is it because, as some have said, perhaps even publicly, well, there's a sense of jealousy and not wanting this economy to work? Is it that really, no matter what you may hear or think, but there's still some things that need to be addressed and corrected, because we can't really play fairly in the big world, and we're not doing what we're supposed to do in terms of what needs to be done? Or is it like someone said, wait a minute, you have a double standard. You allow this one, that one, and the next one because they're part of your club, but because we're out here, well, we don't fit the sort of frame that you've built for everybody else, so therefore you can't be a part of it. Well, what is your thought? 8949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Now, with that, I have a interesting little message here from one of our listeners who has posed this particular question, and it's sort of asked the question from the populist perspective. How would the country feel, as I look at this question? I'll word it a little bit differently. About one, not just letting the people who are now eligible to vote but can't stand for election because they don't meet their criteria. How does the country feel about amending that law? That if you are a registered voter So you can elect the people who will be there to govern you, but you yourself, as an elector, can't equally be a candidate. What do you think about changing that? Is that, as this person says, a human right that is being trampled, or is that, as alleged, to preserve the sort of lineage that exists? Now, I won't read it as it is worded exactly, but that is what is being asked. So what is your thought on that? Is that too deep a question for too late an afternoon? Should we have tackled that earlier? What is your thought? Now, I ask that because this is as the person shared, this is the third time it's in as many years that they've asked this question. I can say that in the recent times, specifically because of the whole issue of what was expected to have been a referendum, had a small number of people sort of broached that question. Well, I can vote in the referendum, but I can't be a candidate. Is that fair? So what is your thought? This person's view is the law needs to be amended. If you can vote, you should be able to equally be a candidate. Well, do you agree? And if you agree, why? And if you don't, well, why not? It's not an essay or short answer question for some examination. But do you think it's fair the way it is? Do you think it's unfair the way it is? If you change it, well, is that an issue? Call us and share your thoughts. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Your favorite Cayman Family Fun Day is almost here. The Agriculture Show at the Stacey Water Agricultural Pavilion in Lower Valley is happening Ash Wednesday, February 26, $20,000 up for grabs, and so much fun for everyone. February 26, if you need more information, visit Cayman Agriculture on Facebook, or you can email 345agriculture@gmail.com.
Mary Ann Radmacher once said, "As we work to create light for others, we naturally light our own way."
Calling all CICSA members. The Cayman Islands Civil Service Association Annual General Meeting is Friday, February 21st at the GAB Downstairs Conference Room 1038, starting at 12:15 p.m. A light lunch will be provided.
Come out and vote for your 2020 Management Council. Hear the President give his annual report, ask your questions, share your ideas, and make suggestions. You can also email your questions in advance of the meeting to CICSA@gov.ky. There will also be a door prize raffle of Cayman Airways vouchers, and the first 35 persons to sign in at the meeting will get a free gift.
Members, please make every effort to attend this very important upcoming annual general meeting. Remember, it's Friday, February 21st at the GAB Downstairs Conference Room, room 1038, starting at 12:15 p.m. Hope to see you there.
We need to talk. Okay. We've noticed you've been going to KFC a lot more than usual lately.
And that's fine. We know you love it.
We just don't understand how you can afford it.
The KFC What a Deal menu, starting at just $3.50, gives you lots of great choices and value. Available at KFC Baytown Plaza, Shedden Road, and in the Strand. The KFC What a Deal value menu, the deal everyone should know about. Come to KFC and enjoy a variety of tasty choices at surprising prices. KFC, so good.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. 949-837, 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Now, quickly during the break, someone sent in a comment in relation to the notion of beach accesses and the like. And shared simply that the concern shouldn't only be that people will be relegated to areas sort of, I guess what we were saying, outside, out of mind, but will be unable to legally use the areas now. The person shared that there was an experience. Now, I don't know whether this was in recent weeks or in recent years, or presumably, allegedly here, going to one of the places and being told, sadly we've heard this too many times in the past, or that you can't be here. So being asked to move from what, as this person quickly shared, was the presumption of public access, public beach, not the public beach, but public beach. You can move along. Somewhat, and I had an instance where someone had shared they were walking, they stopped in front of a property. Again, no reason to disbelieve the person, but as I said to the person, there are many sides to the story. I'll take you for what you shared. The person shared, was walking, stopped to admire something dancing in the water, as it were, and presumably wasn't stationary for too long when hired sort of personnel approached and said, you can't stay here, this is private, you need to move along. And from what I gather from what the individual said about, out of an abundance of self-restraint, an argument would have ensued, and out of protest said, you know what, I was planning to continue the evening walk, but I'll just sit here. And if you feel that I'm trespassing or you have the right to remove me, suggest you call the authorities. Well, sometime later, again, the contention is that it didn't take that long for a uniformed officer to arrive. Discussion had. It would appear that the officer seemed to have, been very amenable, courteous, professional alike, perhaps recognizing the individual or at least the reputation, and said, I'm not there on that property. This is my understanding of what is public. I'm walking along as an exercise. And hadn't this individual come and approach me, would not have even been here this long. But just out of, principle, I've remained. And it's unfortunate that you're now taken away from your duties, what could otherwise be more important. The person shared that for two reasons. One, is it a lack of understanding? Two, is it a deliberate attempt by some people to perhaps impose what they believe is or should be law? And then three, is it that in so doing, are we creating this unfortunate instance? Now, the fellow had relayed on another occasion that you would see these behaviors sometimes at hotels or maybe at certain condos where the owners behave a certain way, believe this or that. But presumably it's a practice that has become, very, very apparent and very, very often offends many people, not just the so-called locals, but even the visitor who unknowingly, walking the beach to kind of explore, maybe potential investors, maybe just enjoying the beauty, perhaps enamored by the seemingly endless beach, how clean it is and the like, and decides to stop. Now, probably some, and whether they know better or don't, may go on the property, may sit in the chairs, may do other things. But is there a way, as this fellow has shared in the past, for us to respond more professionally, with more decorum and a sense of courtesy, hospitality to these sort of transgressions, as it were? But what is your view? 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Likewise, you can always WhatsApp 925-3261. Now, I share that in light of the question earlier posed by the individual who asked the question. For those people who are eligible to vote, but at present, because of legislation, not eligible to be candidates in the election in which they can vote, should the law be changed to allow those people, if they can vote, they should also be eligible to stand for election. Now, some would know the law inside and out and would know the ancestral links, with the grandparent having before you're eligible. But for some, they say, well, wait a minute now. If I can do this, can I not also be able to do that? Now, your thought. You may think it's weird that it isn't that way. You may think it might be strange if you change it. What would that do for all these things? Well, I can share with you that there have been a few people who have been asking that question. Well, you can infer whether or not their ambitions or whether they're just looking at it from the perspective of fairness. Let's go to our phones. Good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Hi, Dwayne. I'm calling in regards to your question.
Oh, thank you very much, and I appreciate that very much. What are your thoughts? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. I don't agree that the law should be changed to allow to make, or to allow that to happen. That people not born here being eligible to vote. And furthermore, I would like to see the law amended that not able to run. Sorry.
Right.
Furthermore, I would like to see the law amended that right now it is, I think it's if the person has a parent or grandparent, if the person wasn't born here, but they have a parent or grandparent, then they're eligible. I think that's how the law still is.
Right.
I would like to see it amended that they should have a parent and grandparent instead parent or.
Okay. So most perhaps
keeper.
Uh-huh.
Because we've given away everything now in Cayman. We hardly have anything left for ourselves.
But some people say
That's
we
one
pay
of the things
people.
I think we should hold on to.
All right. Well, can I ask the question the other way then? For those people now who are eligible to vote because they have status and but they can't run, should we even be more stringent and say, well, you know what, you're not eligible to vote. You got to wait until maybe your children or your children's children
Well, I don't really have a problem with that, but I think Caymanians, indigenous Caymanians, should have more of a say in how their country is run.
Right. I hear what you're saying, and I don't wish to be offensive or anything, but if you can vote, if you satisfy the criteria to be eligible to vote, why not be eligible to stand for election? I heard what you said, but why not? And then
even the big United States, I mean, they can run as candidates if they're not born there, but they can't run as president.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're just a little drop in the bucket compared to the U.S.
Okay. All right.
So
well,
I, for one, I mean, my opinion probably don't matter because eventually it'll change, but I would that would be something that I would like to see changed in the law, is that parent, you have to be born of a Caymanian parent Caymanian parent and grandparent been born here.
All right.
If you were born outside of Cayman.
Now, with that in mind, and I really appreciate you taking the time and certainly having the courage to share publicly, right? With that in mind, as our population is increasing, whether it's deliberate and they're trying to pretend that it's not, we're going to be 100,000 or 200,000 at some point in time down the road. With that increase in number, and more than likely, they're going to be people that are already over age 18, all right? What happens then when you've got not 50% of the population that isn't from here, but 90% of the population that isn't from here, and they're saying, hey, you know what, there's 200,000 of us, and,
It still don't matter to me. It still belongs, this little island still belongs to us, and it should remain so for as long as we're able to. And government need to do something about controlling that growth.
How would you suggest the government to go about controlling that growth?
Well, first of all, I mean, they do have some control now where people can only stay a certain amount of years and then they get rolled over. And I think that should be straight across the board, no exceptions, no about what kind of key positions and all that, and that they stay longer. All that is rubbish to me. So I think when somebody's working and that time is up, that 8 years or 9 years, then they go for whatever, 2 years or whatever, and be replaced by somebody else. Nobody is irreplaceable.
Any concerns, though, with that? And I mean, this is a very involved, difficult issue, so forgive me for not expecting a detailed answer as yet, right? But any concerns with doing that creates within the people who come here this inability or reservation to say, you know what, I can't put down roots because 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, then I have to go. So what's the point? I mean, to just try to make as much as I can make.
Here for 9 years and build themselves up, which many have done. I'm sure glad of them would still be glad of that. Because most of them not able to get a job back where they come from. So if they can 9 years and they can move on to someplace else, they sure have enough that save that they can. Most of them can even be without a job for a year and come back, which a lot of them are doing now. And I think that we should keep it that way.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, it is these types of discussions with people of your obvious passion and intellect, maybe getting people a chance to spur them on to talk and to discuss further, right?
Yeah. And I wish they would call in because they're complaining behind the scenes. But
We
they
hear
need to
too.
get up and stand up and say and speak to their MLAs and their representatives.
All right.
Know how they feel.
Okay. Well, would you mind us sharing, forgive me, our appreciation for your contribution and offer you up a gift certificate on behalf of, one of our partners here, Water and Elephant. Nice little coffee place, get us some tea. Could we offer that to you?
Sure.
All right.
I love tea.
Yeah, and they do the tea time at Cayman. They serve that over there at Water and Elephant. So just to say thanks, show our appreciation. Sort of February, the month of love, as it were. Would you allow Miss Susan to take your details, phone number, your blood type, your fit? No, just kidding.
If you want.
They're just for formalities. And when you have to come here, just tell the attendant at the gate that you come into Radio Cayman, you'll park. It won't take you very long. We'll take your blood. No, just kidding. Get your information, and it'll be there waiting for you. So let her give her your details, and then you just come and get it. All right?
Okay, thank you.
You're most welcome. And thanks, too, for that input. Let's take one final call, Miss Susan. No? Yes? Maybe so? Let's go to the phones. Good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Good afternoon, Dwayne. I don't know if you're going to guess, but I remember you said it was open mic.
Yes, well, it is.
Calling regarding to the comment you made about growing our population, how we would control justice. And it's just a suggestion. What we need to do, like Mr. Arden said, and the MLA for North East End said, we need to nothing against foreigners, but we need to lock our door right now because we are overcrowded with more expats, and the more we let in will be the more that the population will be divided. And like you said, we're getting more expats now than we got Caymanians, and that's where the problem is going to come in at, because Caymanians feel like they're being pushed out in many shapes and forms, because a lot of the establishments, for instance, when people go home and roll over, instead of there, as far as I know, the law was you were supposed to fill it with a Caymanian, between a Caymanian and fill a post. What they're doing is they're holding posts left open so that the foreigner that has gone home for the year or whatever, they hold that post open till they come back. In my opinion, they need, instead of decreasing the length of time, they need to increase it to 2 years, because to them now a year is nothing to them now, so they'll rush and hurry and get back. And the employers are making it harder for Caymanians.
Well, is that then the challenge then, that we're making it harder for those who want to live and call this home, and easier for unscrupulous employers to say, you know what, this job is yours, you just go take your time where you need to go, and then when you come back, just pick up where you left off. Allegedly, we hear that some people will say that the person is able to work remotely, even still get the paycheck, still be, employed, but not just physically present.
Yeah. And yeah, doing that deal.
All right. Well, listen. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, that's all. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you too. Thank you very much. Listen. Continue thinking, talking, acting, in a civil way to make what we do that much better. And tomorrow, we invite you to join. We start in the morning for the record. Come back for Talk Today right after midday news and midday meditation. Throughout the month, we're going to do our utmost to maybe say a little love, share as best as we can, show our appreciation. We want to thank, places like Reflections and Water and Elephant, Pico's, Lacus Slice. We had Lawrence. We had, Le Classique. Just coming on board with some gift certificates, and we want to share just for so, because you can. It's just our way of saying thanks. Sometimes you do things for people because you can, because you want to, and if it means that the economy gets that much better, the entrepreneurial spirit is that much more encouraged, hey, you can't hurt anybody, as they say. It's all good. All right. Well, thank you for playing along. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Now, you want to hear some excellent music? Well, for the next 25 minutes or so, Miss Susan's going to play you some good songs. So stay tuned for what she has to share. Join Joel and the good team for the next 3 hours of excellent music for this Tuesday afternoon. We get an hour of news between 6 and 7. After that, JJ the Iceman. Well, he takes you up. Well, I had the guy that he plays some good songs. I can't believe the first song he played last evening was a song that apparently was being sung by a guy some of us didn't know could sing. But anyway, that's tomorrow. I'll take a look for that. Until then, be blessed.
Talk Today airs Monday through Friday from 12:15 until 2:30 p.m., bringing you insight into community events and issues, government initiatives, and the latest in business news within our islands. Brought to you each Tuesday and Thursday by Fidelity Bank. We're good for you. Visit fidelitygroup.com or call 949-7822.